How are all of you lovely people doing today? My name is John, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Zombie Storyline Q&A. This is a series where I take your questions about the zombie storyline and I answer them. Whether it's a big, a small, or a simple question, I'm always happy to take them on. You can either leave your questions down below or tweet me at JohnnyJ25. Either way, you may be in the next episode. Without further ado, let's begin. Today's episode will begin with a question from McGuire Barnes on Twitter, who asks, Johnny, how did Richtofen 2.0 get the blood vials? They never really explained how he got them before Origins. Part of why they never explained where the blood vials come from is because the blood vials in a sense represent paradoxes. One way, the blood vials exist when they shouldn't exist. Monty points this out during the Revelations ending. They're from universes that have already been closed off. They can't be here, yet they are. How is that possible? It's a paradox. In addition to that, where did the first blood vial come from? That's another paradox in itself. It's a chicken and the egg problem. You see, these blood vials are riddled with paradoxes, and I think in a way they kind of symbolize these paradoxes, and that's part of why we never get a good explanation of where they come from. Now, there is a little bit of an explanation of where they come from. There's a quote within Revelations. In this quote, Richtofen says to himself, "Did I remember to give myself the blood vials?" Now, here's the problem. Most of the Revelations character audio has been encrypted, so we can't actually get our hands on the actual quote. Otherwise, I would have played it for you guys. But I assure you, this is a quote within Revelations. Let's talk about Origins Richtofen for a minute. Origins Richtofen didn't believe in much of the stuff that was going on in the universe. As Maxis did his research, he began to learn about the Ancients and the Staves and all of these mystical powers. Richtofen was very doubtful. He thought Maxis was going crazy. So you can tell that this Richtofen wasn't the one that sought after the blood vials. There's no way he could have. He hadn't read the Chronorium yet. He hadn't gone on any adventures. He didn't even believe in any of this stuff. So there's no way that Richtofen before Origins went on an adventure in which he received the blood vials. They had to have been given to him by a future version of himself, since Richtofen does say that he gave himself the blood vials. And here's what I think happened. So Richtofen, after he receives the Chronorium, which we learn more about in the comic books that are soon to be released, goes and learns that he can use the blood vials to survive ceasing to exist following the Revelations ending. And he does so. And what he does is he takes the blood vials and then goes back in time to give them to himself before Origins happens, and that would be how Richtofen from Origins receives the blood vials. Now, I don't think this is a matter of Richtofen going back in time, saying hi to his past self, and then giving him the blood vials, because if I'm Richtofen and I see myself in the future, I'm going to start to believe some of this stuff. But because this is a doubtful Richtofen, I think that Richtofen maybe just left them on a table or something for him to pick up, very subtly gave the blood vials to Richtofen, and that might be why he doesn't draw attention to them in Origins. It's just something he keeps with him. He doesn't even know what they're for, he doesn't know what their purpose is, but he will as he goes on. Now this of course begs the question again, where does the original blood vial come from? Richtofen goes back in time and gives himself the blood vials so that he can use them to survive the Revelations ending, and then this is what continues the cycle. The blood vials are in a sense that, but how did the cycle begin? Where did the original blood vial come from? What Richtofen was the first Richtofen to go back and give him that blood vial? That's the problem, and this is where we get this chicken and the egg, because it's Richtofen giving himself the blood vial that triggers the next Richtofen giving himself the blood vial. Where's the original trigger? So we're never going to get, I believe, a solid answer as to where the blood vials come from, but what we understand from a Revelations quote is that Richtofen gave them to himself. And my theory, and this is just speculation and this is purely a theory, he does it after he reads the Chronorium. And this is slightly before he goes to Shadows of Evil and steals the summoning key. Moving on, we now have a question from @LikeAJosh on Twitter, who asks, why do the zombies get stronger every round? This is a good question. Some people would look at this and go, oh, that's just a game mechanic. There's no real story to it, but there actually is. In Black Ops 1, when Richtofen and Samantha switch bodies, and Samantha is now a playable character, she gives us a little bit of insight into what goes on when you're controlling the zombies and why you make the zombies attack the players. Take a listen.
No matter how many you kill, we cannot win this way. Don't kill the zombies. He just gains power when you do. Stop tempting us to kill Edward. Next time, Uncle Edward will give you stronger legs. Edward! Give them stronger legs! You're terrible at this!
So it all boils down to energy. There is energy within the zombies, and we see this happen. When we kill zombies, we can use the energy from their souls to fill soul chests. This is how we powered the original pyramid on Moon. Almost every Easter egg has some variation of a soul chest where you need to stand in one place and kill a zombie. So the energy from the zombies allows the person in control of the zombies to become stronger. And as Samantha explains, what you do is you continue to send zombies after people so that they're forced to kill the zombies. You're tricking them into making you stronger. And Samantha also mentions that when you're in control, you do have the power to make the zombies stronger. She complains that Richtofen doesn't make the zombies' legs stronger. Now this is just an off joke about the crawlers, but you can receive a little bit of insight from it. If you think about it, as you continue play the game, you will give more energy to the person in control of the zombies. The person in control of the zombies then is more powerful, and with more powers, what they can do is make their minions stronger. So they will then make the zombies stronger, giving them more health or stronger legs, as Samantha would suggest. And this is why, as the game goes on, as we continue to kill more and more zombies, the waves get larger, the waves get stronger, and the waves get faster, because we are feeding the person in control of the zombies as we kill more zombies. Today's episode will begin with a question from Yuriga243, who asks, can you explain the Shangri-La cycle? I thought this would be a good question to tackle. The Shangri-La cycle became relevant again with the Sarah Michelle Gellar radios found within Revelations, and most people haven't played Shangri-La. That was 2 maps ago, believe it or not. For people new to the community, when I throw out things like Shangri-La cycle, they might have no idea what that even refers to, so it doesn't hurt to revisit. Within the map Shangri-La, we were introduced to 2 famous explorers, Brock and Gary. They were trying to find Shangri-La because it was a gateway to Agartha, and as they go and explore through the jungles, they find themselves trapped within the catacombs of Shangri-La, and they're stuck in this infinite cycle. Take a listen to the first radio from the Shangri-La Easter egg.
I have found some unfinished carvings around the structures I can't make out. They do not look like... Wait, what is this?
What the hell was that? Why is the sky dark?
It's an eclipse. We must have...
Run! What are those things?
Zombies. We have to find another way.
Zombies? What are you talking about?
The writings must have been right. No! Don't touch that! Damn! Take a look around and try to find a way out.
I got nothing.
We will have to conserve our supplies. Take your shoes off and hand me your socks. I have been trapped in the temple structure for days. Gary is dead, and I don't see a way out of here. I can still hear the zombies outside. I fear this is my last recording, as the battery is about to die, and I will soon follow. One thing I can be certain of is that blood...
Gary accidentally hit a button, and what that did was activate a teleporter. They were sent back in time to a time in Shangri-La when there was an eclipse in the sky. Now, this is when they are first trapped in the infinite cycle. This is when it all begins. Keep in mind, though, that this was the first infinite cycle in all of zombies that we've been exposed to, and considering what we know about cycles now, this was a pretty significant moment in the zombie storyline. Brock and Gary also activate another button. What this does is trap them in some of the caverns and caves within Shangri-La. Now, as you'll hear, eventually they die. but listen to this next radio from Brock and Gary.
What the hell was that? Why is the sky dark?
It's an eclipse. We must have...
Run! What are those things?
Zombies. We have to find another way.
Zombies? What are you talking about?
The documents must have been right. No! Don't touch that! Damn! Take a look around and try to find a way out.
Brock, I hear somebody out there that isn't dead.
Hello out there! Hello?
Hey, there's somebody in there.
We are stuck behind some kind of mechanism. Whatever you did moved it slightly. We really could use some help here.
If that sounds familiar, it's because it's intentionally familiar. What happens is they're back at the start. When Brock and Gary died, they were sent back to the beginning, when they first entered the cycle, and they continue to do this. They die, and then they're back at the beginning, where they first teleported. Both radios, you hear them comment about the eclipse, and they don't realize they're stuck in the cycle. They just die and then are reborn anew. And this is the infinite cycle. It's death and then rebirth. Our characters, however, are able to influence this timeline. What they do is actually teleport back in time, and when they teleport back in time, they change things, and this is why this radio has a different outcome from the last. Our characters were able to change the past, and they continue to do this throughout the Easter egg, and they will help Brock and Gary survive through a number of obstacles, booby traps, and threats that result in their death. And ultimately, what we allow them to do is escape the cycle and reach a final resting place. This is the same thing that happens to Sarah Michelle Gellar. She also finds herself stuck in the infinite cycle. She says to us in the radio that she feels like she's already died, and that's because she has died. She's died and then been born anew and is stuck in this infinite cycle for eternity, and this is it. It's an eternal torment. There is no escaping the Shangri-La cycle. It's death, and then you die again, only to die another day. That's going to wrap things up for the zombie storyline Q&A. If you enjoyed this video, maybe give it a like, possibly subscribe for more. I'm always covering the zombie storyline, and stay tuned for the next episode of the zombie storyline Q&A. You may be in the next episode. Just leave your questions down below or tweet me at JohnnyJ25. I'm going to go. Have a wonderful day, and bye.